Took me a long time to edit this tape. For some reason, everything's taking forever. But if you looked at the last part of yesterday, the last part was saying that guns are a big problem, that we shouldn't have guns anywhere. And then she ended up making the statement that the real problem is mental illness. I agree 100%. We shouldn't have any weapons, especially in the hands of people that are mentally ill. And if these elites like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Obama all have weapons, don't you think our world is in a little bit of danger? Shouldn't we take the guns and weapons out of their hands? After all, they kill people for a living, not look after people. And the last one that I wanted to end off with is Sarah Palin. She has made a good video regarding this shooting where she says that violence is never an answer to any problem. And yet, isn't she the one that put crosshairs against people in her own country, like suggesting that we need to shoot and kill these people that go against her? I mean, the imagery that this woman uses is violent, totally violent. And she wants to kill Julian Assange just for letting out a few secrets. That's the prime example of mental illness, when you can say one rule, that violence is never a way of solving problems, and yet the only way you live your life and solve problems is through violence. That is mental illness. When you give advice to everybody else, yet you can't follow your own advice, diagnose yourself as mentally ill. You are sane when you can follow your own advice. That seems to be, look at everybody that offers advice and see if they actually follow it. And then you can tell who's sane and who isn't. Just my little commentary, my conclusions. Here's a little bit from Sarah Palin, and let's see if she really means what she says. Peace out.
And now, with sadness, to the irresponsible statements from people attempting to apportion blame for this terrible event. President Reagan said, "We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions."
I love, love, love that statement. Society is not responsible, but only the guy that breaks the law is responsible. Is she responsible for putting targets on people, implying that these people should be killed? Is she responsible for uttering death threats to Julian Assange, that he should be hunted and killed for letting out some secrets that criminals want to keep secret, like Palin doesn't want all these secrets out? Is she responsible? Is she accountable for what she creates in society by encouraging society to be violent? She is the ringleader of violence, and puts it onto society, and then removes herself from society and says it's not society responsible. Does she not know that there's a cause and effect? Does she not cook her food every day and know that her food gets cooked because she turned the stove on? Or does she want to say her food got cooked without turning on a stove? There was no cause that cooked food. There's no cause to crime. They go to school to learn how to manipulate society. And then they say, after we manipulated you, that you are the one that needs to be responsible and accountable. Why is it that it's only the victims of crime that need to be responsible, but not the first criminal? Sarah Palin is the last person that's responsible and accountable for her life and her life choices. Sarah Palin neglects. She's in politics. Isn't politics have something to do with society, the influence that politicians have on society, and then detaches herself from what society does by what they create, what they encourage? This woman is totally insane. And she's friggin', in politics, trying to run your country. She has no concept of cause and effect. She has no sense of responsibility and accountability for herself, yet thinks that other people should be. She has no concept that some people are a little hungry. Look at this economic collapse. How many people are losing their homes? How many people are hungry? And how many of these banksters, how many of these CEOs are killing people? Let's take a look at BP oil, pharmaceutical, the medical condition, the healthcare system. All of it is designed to profit as they kill you by you taking pills. Are they accountable? Are they responsible? Or as long as they profit, they don't have to be responsible or accountable for making people go a little crazy from taking all of this medication. Take a look at half the medication that they're pushing on people will drive people crazy. Take some responsibility, Sarah Palin. Let's look more at what you've got to say.
Especially within hours of a tragedy unfolding. Journalists and pundits should not manufacture a blood libel that serves only to incite the very hatred and violence that they purport to condemn. That is reprehensible.
Now, let's face it, the only reason she's doing this little speech is because she was caught inciting violence with her gun bullseye on the very people that are dead. Like, she's taking a little bit of heat for the bullshit she ends up putting out, and society's starting to say, hey, this wasn't exactly, the nicest thing that you could do, inciting violence, and you hold a little bit of responsibility. This is Sarah Palin's way of saying, I'm not responsible, I'm not accountable, but I want everybody else to be responsible and accountable. This is the main reason why she did this speech, is to say, I don't have to be responsible. I don't have to be accountable. I don't have to do the right thing. And you suggesting that I have to be is outrageous, according to Sarah Palin. She is as nutty as they come.
In an ideal world, all discourse would be civil and all disagreements cordial. But our founding fathers knew they weren't designing a system for perfect men and women. If men and women were angels, there would be no need for government.
Okay, what is she implying there? That we're not all angels, but she's the angel that's going to help all of the lost souls? Who is government? Is government, think that they've got all the answers, that they need to control all us evil people? Because what's the opposite of we're not angels? We're evil. So who's going to control those that aren't angels? Somebody who knows better? Somebody who's better? Somebody who is an angel? Sarah, you're no friggin' angel. It appears to me that the ones in government are least angelic, and we probably don't need government if you're an example of something that should be controlling not angel-like people. That was one of the dumbest. I mean, this girl just keeps saying dumb, 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 dumb all the time.
So we must condemn violence if our republic is to endure.
There's the key word. We must condemn violence. Will she take her target practice out of her vocabulary? Will she stop saying Julian Assange should be killed? Will she do everything in her power to convince the government not to go after Julian Assange for letting out all of these secrets done by these criminals who are in politics right now? Let's see how much Sarah Palin believes her own words. Or is she just trying to get everybody else to put their guns down so she can be the only one with the gun? Yeah, those in power are the ones that have the guns, and they're just trying to outlaw anybody else from having a weapon so they can shoot you dead. This girl is totally insane. Again, insanity can be seen when you offer advice to other people, but you cannot follow your own advice. Sarah Palin cannot ever follow her own advice. Why? Because she's mentally ill. She needs help. Is there a doctor in the room? Is there an office you can report mentally ill people? Can we get her in some mental health institution? And can we get all of her political friends and CEOs along with her? I don't think so, because they designed the system. And then when we want to see citizens, doing what she does, we're going to say they're doing something wrong while her behavior is good. Design a law that gets help for people that need help, but you put yourself in that first lineup and get yourself some help. The country kind of needs some stable leaders, not some of this insanity that's going on. Could be wrong, but I doubt it.